Hey everybody, Midnight Wolf here. Welcome back to Pokemon Volt White. Alright, we're back with this. Last time, well, we covered a lot of encounters on the previous routes before getting back over here to Makuhita City. And this time, I'm gonna hopefully start things off well with... Actually, wait, I already picked up this item. Never mind. I don't know anything, apparently. Uh, anyway, we're back and we're gonna try and make some more progress here today. So, first things first, we're heading over to the left here, right over here, super potion. So that's first thing off the list. Second thing off the list is we head over here and talk to you. This random person will give us TM94 Rock Smash. So hey, pretty that's an okay move. Why am I checking my party? It's a pretty good move. If I don't know if it got a boost or not. Let's see. No, it did not. It is still 40 power. Has a chance to lower the target's defense. All right, that's fine. Uh, over here we've got some grass, so we can run into some Pokemon here that may or may not be useful for you going into the next gym. So so while we're there's also a bunch of trainers over here. So while I'm fighting the trainers, I'm gonna go over quite a few Pokemon that are in this area. So while we're doing that, let's get started with the new encounters. Starting off with Temple. Starting things off strong. Yet another water ground type that is, well, pretty solid. It's pretty solid. It's not as fast. It's not as fast as Swampert. It's not as popular as and it's not as popular as Wooper is, but it's still very solid, and it gets some pretty good moves to work with. You get moves you can get decent moves like Waterfall and Surf to use. You can learn Poison Jab, Mud Bomb, Earthquake, so on, etc., etc. It could again, it's slightly outclassed by some of the other water ground types in terms of either popularity or just in general, but regardless, it's still a fun thing to work with, and you can definitely make use of this. It's also one of the few non-poison types to get Poison Touch as well, which is a nice thing to have. And as you can see in the notes, it also now has access, and now also has access to Ice Beam and Blizzard, which for some reason it couldn't learn in the base game. Weird. I don't know. I don't know why I couldn't learn that, but who am I to say anything otherwise? Also, this thing can get gunshot now. I don't. That is scary. If you know how gunshot works, you know how dangerous that can be. So, yeah, keep that in mind when picking this thing up. It could really be a big difference maker. Next, next up on the list, Timber. This one is an interesting one. I always wanted to try using this thing when I first saw this thing, but then I realized it is extremely slow and is borderline a glass cannon in terms of its defenses. Has Bold White fixed anything? Well, not entirely. No stat changes at all. No stat changes at all. But it did get a couple more moves to. It did get a bunch more moves to work with, and you can get a Conkeldurr at level 36, and you have a chance of getting Iron Fist, which is a really good ability to have. And you also got all the Elemental Punches and Mach Punch and Drain Punch to work with here. So hey, you got plenty of options to work with this thing. But just remember this thing is a glass cannon, so it may let you down sometimes if you aren't careful. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, moving on to the next one on the list, Meditite. This thing has always been an odd one to me. Although with how things went in Renegade Platinum, you're probably thinking I'm gonna have a lot of good things to say about this thing. Yes and no. Yes, yes, it's still a good. Yes, it's still a good. Yes, it's still very solid. Yes, it gets really good moves. Does it? Would I? Is it the best fighting type to pick up in this area? Probably not. Honestly, it. I don't know. It got some good moves like Bullet Punch. You can get Force Palm and Psycho Cut earlier now. You get Drain Punch. You can get Drain Punch as a Medichamp now upon leveling up. So there's a lot of good to this thing, but I feel like it still get. I feel like in this game specifically, it's still a bit outclassed compared to other stuff you can find. So this one is a maybe on this one. I would, but at least its typing is still good though. So I guess there you also have that going for it as well. It's got a really solid typing. Who's next on the list? Oh. I gotta talk about Spinnerack, don't I? Really? We gotta do this again? Alright, Spinnerack. I don't know, this thing is just disappointing. That's really all I can say. It is just straight up disappointing. It gets so many interesting moves, but its stats just don't work to make it good enough to do anything. I don't know what to really say about it. Its sniper ability is good, but you're going to get absolutely obliterated. If you run into anything with a super effective move, you're going to get obliterated. It did get its speed stat doubled, so at least it has a chance to outspeed some things and deal some damage. I mean, this thing could get Giga Drain and Psychic as a bug poison type. That's really good. But again, this thing is probably going to get destroyed before it can even get a chance to do anything. So I don't know. This one is a probably don't use, but if you want to use it, be really careful with it. It is even more of a glass cannon than Medichamp than what I said for Conkeldurr. And Conkeldurr is an actually good mon that sees competitive use. So again, make do with that of what you will. Next up on the list, what do we got? Really? We go from one bad mon to another. Ladybug. Do I even need to say anything about... What else do I need to say about this thing other than what has already been said about this thing? This thing sucks. Hard. And Ledian also sucks. If you want... I don't really have anything nice to say about this one. This one is just bad. Because, really... Its stats are bad. They have been bad for a very long time. It did get a boost to its... Yes, it got a boost to its attack. That is very useful. But here's the thing. Its stats are still so low, and it's not going to outspeed anything. And if anything looks at it funny, it's going to faint. It may get Iron Fist. Iron Fist is really the only beneficial thing about it. Iron Fist and getting the elemental... and getting like literally every single punch that benefits from Iron Fist all at the same time is good, but again, how are you going to be able to set up with this thing or be able to hit anything hard enough to knock it out in less than 2 shots is beyond me. But I don't know. If you want to try using this, go ahead, but I would say a hard pass on this one. Next up on the list, an actual good mon this time, Machop. This thing has always been fun. This thing's always been good. I won't deny that. Guts and No Guard are some of the best abilities you could give this thing, especially when you can give this thing Cross Chop and Stone Edge. It's got some good stuff to work with. Granted, you gotta be slightly careful with No Guard because that can bite you in the ass sometimes, but overall this line is still very solid. And you'll finally be able to get to use that Machamp you never got to use before. Although granted you gotta wait a little bit longer than if you were using it than if you were using an Alakazam, but still very good. And you get the elemental punches, to work with, and close combat for some brutally strong power if you want to use that as well. So this one is good overall, and I have nothing really else to add. It's strong, and the abilities let you decide what you want to do here. Do you want to hate everything and be hit by everything, or do you want to have gut, or do you want to get the extra attack boost from guts? So pick what you will. This one is a thumbs up for me. The next one on the list is also a bit of a thumbs up for me, but in a different sense. Makuhita. This one I up until recently I kind of had a love-hate thing with this one. It's good as an HP. It's an HP tank, fighting type HP tank, which is a bit of an odd one. Although I think you can make this one work because of one specific move, and also because of its two abilities. Belly Drum. If you know how Belly Drum works, then you know exactly where this is going with. Just substitute Belly Drum, have a Citrus Berry or leftovers or some way to heal yourself on it, and then you can tank fire and ice moves with Thick Fat, or you can just go for sheer raw power with Sheer Force as its ability. So you really can't go wrong with this one. You have quite a lot of options to work with here, and none of them are really bad. But still, if you haven't tried Substitute Belly Drum, seriously, try that. That is really fun to work. That is really fun. And dangerous, but fun. Anyway, next up on the list, Krogunk. I love this thing. I like this thing more than I probably should, given the fact that if a psychic type looks at it, it dies. Although, well, most things look at it, it'll die. But still, I like this thing, and I will defend it. And I will defend the fact that Krogunk and Toxicroak are good fighting types. They're decent. They have decent stats all around. They have decent stats all around. They have pretty solid move pools. You can get Poison Touch or Dry. You can get Poison Touch instead of the useless Anticipation now. Dry Skin is still its other ability that you could give it, which is really nice to work with. And just in general, it's a fun thing to work with. And you can get the Elemental Punch, and you get some of the Elemental Punches now. As a Toxicroak, and Drain Punch, and Cross Chop, and an even more stronger move in Gunk Shot if you want to use that. This thing is really fun to work. This thing is really fun, and again, I love this thing, and I will stand by it regardless of what other people say. Anyway, just quickly cutting back. TM43 Flame Charge is over here. That is a 50, I believe it, if I remember correctly, 50 power, 100 accuracy, and will boost the user's speed by one stage each time you hit the opponent with it. Each time you hit the opponent. So there you go. Anyway, moving on to the last of the... Anyway, we're almost done here. Moving on to the last of the normal encounters here. We have Slack Off. Do you want to have just raw power? Or do you want to just see the world burn? Well, this thing can definitely do that. Slack Off just is a bit of a monster. And on the bright side, you have more ways to make this thing work instead of just being forced to be stuck with Truant. Although the other option is a double-edged sword. Slow Start. You could get this thing Slow Start. You can get this thing Slow Start instead of Truant. So basically Regigigas' ability. If you don't remember what Slow Start does, your attack and your speed, I believe, are halved for the first 5 turns, and then after 5 turns, you're back to full strength. So it could be better because slacking it can actually deal some serious damage, even if its attack is halved. But Truant might be better because at least you'll have your full strength immediately rather than being crippled. although a Slacking that can move every single turn can also be a very dangerous thing to work with. So it's a toss-up here. On the bright side, if you get Slow Start, you'll have Sheer Force Vigor. You'll have Sheer Force with a Vigor off when it's a Vigor off as well, which is very nice to work with. So it's not all bad. That aside, its moves, well, I don't need to say anything else about its moves. It has very good moves that will make everything fear it. So you can decide on that one, and you can decide on that one there. All right, that's all the encounters you can find in the normal grass. Now we're onto the doubles grass, and I think since these two are right next to each other in the Pokédex, let's go over both of these two together. Throw and Sock. These two are just kind of weird. These things are just kind of weird. Throw is supposed to be the tank, whereas Sock is supposed to be a bit of a tank, whereas Sock is supposed to be the more physical, supposed to be the more agile of the two. I don't know. These two are weird. They don't really get any help here. No changes to their stats. They both get all the elemental punches, with one difference in between their two move sets. In counter for throw and low kick for Sock, and their abilities are okay, but nothing groundbreaking. You can get guts and mold breaker for throw, and sturdy and mold breaker for Sock. So not really much I can say there. They don't get a whole lot of variety in move coverage either normally. The elemental punches are a nice touch, but still it's a little bit lacking, honestly, on these two. And throw is really slow. And Sock is a glass cannon. On the bright side, though, if you have the move Thief, these two are really good for one thing at least. If you have the move Thief, you'll have a 50% chance of finding a black belt on each one you find. And you also have a 50% chance of, and you have a 5% chance of finding an extra belt on them when you use Thief. So if nothing else, run into these two with a Thief Mon so you can at least get some black belts or extra belts. Those things can come in handy in more ways than one. So that's the best thing I can note about these two. Moving on though, we've got Dunsparce. Why do we need to talk about Dunsparce again? This thing is just sad. It should be so much more. It should have been an evolution into Drampa. Why, Game Freak? Why must you be so cruel? Is the only thing we're gonna get for Dunsparce an evolution in a fan game that got banned because Nintendo was trigger happy? I don't know. This thing is still interesting. It did get a bit of a boost, which is nice. More HP, more attack, which is nice. Still has Serene Grace as an ability. And it still has one of the bigger move pools of the entire series. Although it doesn't get any new moves in this ROM hack though, which kind of sucks. So there is that. But regardless, it's something. If you want to make this thing work, I would recommend trying to focus on making this thing as fast as possible, and then faking out your foes by using your variety of type coverage to your advantage. Plus, with all the reusable TMs, you might be able to make that work a lot easier than you think. So there you go. Next up on the list, Doduo, who conveniently showed up for me here. Doduo, this thing is fast. It's pretty fast. Its abilities aren't very helpful, but it is fast. And Anger Point could be a funny ability to work. With, but it's a risky one at the same time. Most notable thing is that this thing was the original was the original thing that used Tri-Attack. Albeit Tri-Attack isn't very useful now because this thing is a physical attacker and Tri-Attack being special doesn't really work. You do get Drill Run though, which is an interesting move to work with. So we've got that. This thing is faster than Fearow. So I guess if you wanted to, I guess if you were a fan of Fearow, but it wasn't, but it was too slow or something, then this thing could work for you. So hey, there you go. It might be something worth your time. It might not. That one again. That decision's yours on that one. The decision's yours on what you think of it. Next thing on the list, Snubbull. This thing is not a fairy type, but it is still very interesting regardless. It gets Intimidate, which is always a nice ability to work with. It got a boot. It has slightly more HP to work with now, which is even better. Rattle's an odd but fun ability if you can make it work. And well, it gets some all-rain moves. Nothing extremely flashy, but its moves are all right. So you have decent stuff to work with here. I don't have anything else to really say. It's okay. It's solid overall, but it's not an extreme standout like other mons we've seen previously. Next up though, Apom. This thing is always this thing I never understood. It's fast, it has good move pool. It's fast, but it's got a pretty interesting move pool. But it's also got pickup and skill link for some reason. Why? I don't even know. But I don't know. This one has always been one that I never fully. This one's always been one that I never fully understood. But hey, I think this one is alright. Plus, it's one of those mons that you could do the strategy of fake out into last resort. Why would this one's probably better to do that with than Liferd, but regardless, it's an interesting one. But hey, you have another mon that can use pickup, which is always nice. So you never know. So who knows? Maybe that's the thing maybe that's what you need. Maybe you just need to pick up mons for those rare candies, or you just feel like having it or you got a good one with good nature and it had the wrong ability. It could be that too. Don't you just hate it when that happens? Anyways, I don't have much else to say on the Ambipom line. It's again a really solid normal type. It gets some pretty interesting things to work with, and you can do some stupid strategies with this thing. Anyway, now we've got Cubone again. We've got Cubone. So this thing. Oh boy. Why? I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about this thing other than it's a decent attacker. It gets some decent moves, but I don't know. It just gets outclassed by other ground types. I mean, we had Golem. You can have access to Golem. You have Golem. You have a potential Steelix waiting later down the line. You have a potential Steelix waiting further down the line. You have Excadrill. You could get Excadrill as well. You got Boulder, one of the biggest, beefiest tanks of all time. You got Lairon, which is a really solid Steel type as well. Wooper. You can find Mudkip. Diglett, Gibble. This thing gets outclassed by a whole bunch of things. So honestly, this one's a bit of a pass. It's just too outclassed by other things, in my honest opinion. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and a bunch of people will prove me wrong and just somehow set up and sweep and destroy the entire region with a Cubone. Who knows? Anyway, we're almost at the end of this thing here, and next one up is Burmy. This thing sucks. I don't have anything else to add on to Burmy specifically. Burmy just sucks. That's literally it. Oh, okay, fine. I'll talk about Wormadam and Mothim. Wormadam. I don't. This one is a bit Wormadam. Wormadam is an odd one. Its form. It doesn't really have anything interesting to note. All three of them are slow. All three of them are slow. They don't get the best moves to work with, and well, two of the three can be one. Two of the three have quad weaknesses. One of them being quad weak to both fire and being quad weak to fire and flying. The other being quad weak to fire, and then the other one is a really bad. The other one is just a really bad user of Sand Veil. So yeah, I don't have anything to say on Wormadam. Mothram though is slightly better, but considering what its little brother is, again, I'm gonna say a hard pass on this one. Oh, okay, so that was something. That was not what I was expecting to be in that grass. I ran into a Tepig. Also, quick note, off screen, I ran into a Mudkip in the shaking grass when trying to grind a little bit. So, there's that as well. But I'm gonna try and catch this Tepig, even though I don't know do I even have Pokeballs? I have 2 Heal Balls and 10 Dive Balls. Okay, I'll work with that. Alright, let's try that. Actually, wait, I have Thunder Wave, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay, let's paralyze it. Anyway, while I'm trying to catch this Tepig over here, let's quickly get back on track here. Don't have anything else to say about Mothram, but I do have something to say about our next encounter, Heracross. It's a 2% encounter, but Heracross. This thing is just fun, and if you can, and the fact that it has Moxie now makes it even more fun. Yeah, if you liked using stuff like Crocodile in the past that has Moxie, or Scrafty with Moxie, you're gonna love Moxie Heracross. That thing is dangerous as well, and it's got good type coverage to boot. So hey, there you go. Some pretty big things that this thing can do. I don't have much else to say about it aside from it just being a straight up powerhouse that can just be your worst nightmare. So yeah, enough said there. It's just really good, like really freaking good. Anyway, moving on. We've got the special encounters, which are the last things. I've already been over Tepig before, so I don't have anything else to really say here. I don't have anything else to really say here on Tepig specifically. I do have stuff to say about the other special encounters you can find here. First one is Tyrogue. This thing has always been a bit of a mess, isn't it? This thing used to only be stuck with just Tackle. Like, why? I don't know. This one just never made a whole lot of sense to me, but I don't know. It's got some stuff that you can work with, like once you evolve it, at least, of course, because it can evolve into one of the 3 Hitmons. Hitmonlee's the fast one with Hitmonlee's got sort of bad attack. Oh wait, no, not Hitmonlee. Sorry. Hitmonlee's got really great attack, really great speed, is a glass cannon, and can hit really hard, and gets Blaze Kick naturally. Enough said there. Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan, on the other hand, is a bit of a different one. It's more defensive, gets all the elemental punches, and now gets access to Drain Punch. Hitmontop, however, I don't know. Hitmontop, on the other hand, is a bit of an odd one. Hitmontop is, well, I don't know. It's supposed to be balanced of the two, but really, does anybody even remember Hitmontop half the time? it's like usually people only remember because it's like, oh yeah, there was another hit. Oh yeah, there's 3 Hitmons instead of 2, isn't there? And then they take a look at him on top, and they're like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this thing? I mean, it gets things like triple kick. I mean, yeah, it gets triple kick, but what are you supposed to do with that? Like, there's not a whole lot to work with him on top here, so we're kind of gonna, I'm just gonna move on this one. Nothing really to say here. This thing doesn't even get any new moves. It gets no new moves to work with either. And no stat changes. This sucks. So, really, again, nothing really to say here. Moving on to the next. Moving on though, we've got a better mon to work with. Riolu. This thing's just good. This thing's just good. It's always been good, and it will continue to be good. Enough said there. Its base happiness has been increased a lot, so you should be able to get the Lucario very easily just by running around for a few minutes. And I guess another thing I guess it wouldn't be a thing if I didn't mention the fact that this Lucario is just freaking awesome. Also, I should probably explain when you get. I should also probably mention when you get Aura Sphere. I think you get it around level 15, but Future Me will probably put up a note correcting me on that one. But Lucario does get. But if you've seen the verses going on, you know that Lucario still is very good. You can get Blaze. It gets Blaze Kick. You can get Blaze Kick, of course. Thunder Punch and Ice Punch now are available to it. You can get Crunch as a Rio. You can get Crunch, Low Kick, and High Jump Kick as a Riolu only at 22, 26, and 33 respectively. So there are advantages to not evolving your Riolu right away. Really, what I would recommend doing though, if you want to get some of those special moves for Lucario, the one I would go for is Crunch. Because Lucario, you're not going to have a lot of access to ways to deal with ghost types, at least not immediately. So that might be a good option for you. High Jump Kick is good, but you have the chance to miss, and besides, you can get a move that can never miss, like Aura Sphere, or just go for Drain Punch or Brick Break or something else. So I would maybe keep your Riolu around until level 22, then evolve it. But again, that one's up to you. So go choose what you think is right for it. Next up on the list is Charmander. We have another starter we can talk about here. All the other fire type starters are here, so I'm gonna try and go through these in rapid fire. Just to get these out of the way quickly. So if I skip over something, you can pause the screen and take a look. You can pause the video and take a look at what the notes are for it. Charmander. First off, Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. What do I think about these things? Really solid. Still always good. Still have and always will be good. And Charizard gets some really good moves to work with. You can get this thing Belly Drum and Dragon Dance now. Like, what? Really? Yeah, needless to say, this line is still a fan favorite, and if you picked up a Waters, and if you picked Ocelot, this thing is a really good thing to help you out with. And this thing also has Dragon Rage fairly early on, so you got another thing you can work with as well. Anyway, next up on the list, Cyndaquil. This thing is probably the best Johto starter. This is probably the best Johto starter that you can. Probably the best of the 3 Johto starters, but still, it's still very solid. So, what can I say? It doesn't have no stat changes on this one, but in this case, I don't think it really needed it. Fire types do okay in this region, do pretty good in this region, as seen by speedrunners with Emboar. So you really can't go wrong with this line. It's got the same stats as Charizard, so the main difference is that between this and Charmander is that Charizard can fly and Typhlosion cannot. But Typhlosion can also get Thunder Punch and Earth Power and Extra Sensory. You can't get that as a Charizard now, can you? Take that, Gen 1. But regardless of the fact, Cyndaquil, if you like Typhlosion, but you didn't find, if you like Charmander, but you couldn't find it and found a Cyndaquil instead, Cyndaquil is very viable, and you can probably use it just as well as a Charizard, even better in some cases. And next up is Torchic. This thing, if you want to use this thing, make sure you go look for Speed Boost. Seriously, if you can get Speed Boost on this thing, if you get Speed Boost on this thing, good luck. The opponents are gonna have a hell of a hard time trying to stop you. And the fact that you can get Thunder Punch and Night Slash via Move Relearner for Blaziken, yeah, this thing is really freaking good. Just again, get Speed Boost for the love of Arceus. You will thank me later. So maybe don't use that. So yeah, maybe don't throw a ball in the first turn for this one. But anyway, last thing we gotta talk about is Torchic's older brother in Chimchar, the second of the firefighting types. This one, get Iron Fist. Like, enough said. Just get Iron Fist. I don't really need to say anything else on that one. If you get Iron Fist, on this thing when it's that fast, yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck to everybody else. Although, again, no, this one's got no stat changes. But if you need to get any of the fire type starters here, this is probably either this or Speed. Iron Fist for the Iron Fist Chimchar or Speed Boost Torchic are probably what you want to go for here. They're probably the best two in terms of overall abilities combined with their stats and move pools. And again, you can get Thunder Punch on Infernape as a level 1 move relearner move. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Is there anything else? Nope. That's it. That is all the encounters. That is everything you can run into on the outside part of Pinwheel Forest before you're allowed to go in it. You cannot go inside. We cannot go into the inside area at the moment because Team Plasma is blocking the way. So there's nothing else to really point out there. And now that that's done, and since that's all done, I'm going to speed through the rest of this battle because this battle was stupid. Krogunk outsped me and kind of kicked my ass. Also, the Challenge Rock back there, if you bring a fighting type to the Challenge Rock, you can use if you bring a fighting Pokemon to the Challenge Rock, you can break off a star piece that you can do once a day. So that is a nice little thing to know. Now, there is something I want to do here. Before we end things off. There are two things I want to do here before we end things off. One, I want to catch a temporary Pokemon for my team. There's a good reason for this. And you'll see why. It's more of an emergency measure, but I don't want to take the chance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speed up, cut ahead a little bit, and try and find it. Actually, now that I think about it, this Tepe got a charcoal, by the way. Now I think about it, I don't need to. I have a Tepe. What am I talking about? Tepe will work, I think. But yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, that's the Team Plasma thing going on over there. So it'll work. So that I can't do anything. It went until we beat the gym leader. But yeah, I'll use Tepig or I'll probably might pick up another fighting type off screen just for the gym. But the last thing we're gonna do is that we need to go into the gym, right? So let's do that. Oh, I want to see things no one else can see. Truths of Pokemon inside Pokeballs. The ideals how a trainer should be, and a future where Pokemon have become perfect. Do you feel the same? Maybe. I think my friends and I should test to see if you can see this feature too. Surprise! It's a battle against N. We gotta fight him right. We have to fight him. We have to fight him right before we go into the gym, and it's a double battle as well. So heads up. He's gonna lead off with a level 19 Driller and a level 19 Bronzor. Don't Drover's got Mold Breaker. Bronzor I believe has Levitate. So yeah, keep that in mind. I actually started with this is actually a really bad setup for these two. Iron Defense, and I need actually shoot. Okay, I need Royal for this. I can't send in Flappy when that Drillbur's on the field. So let's send in Royal to Metal Claw. Okay, well, at least I didn't switch in on that. And Iron Defense because I was worried you were going to use a ground move or something. Bronzor just okay. I don't know why you did that. All right, let's do let's do Metal Claw, and let's do Leaf Tornado. I'm not really worried about the Bronzor, so I'm gonna focus on get rid of this Drover. All right, and Trisha. Okay, well you hit extra sensory. Okay, that did nothing. All right, we're fine. Temple. Again, level 19. Don't know what the moveset is, but it probably has whatever level up moveset is. I have a feeling you're going to target me, so Royal, I hope you don't miss and outspeed. You do. Okay. There goes Temple. No way that one's living. Alright. Now, wondering what you're going to... Okay, Trisha's level 19, which is nice. I needed that. Royal to 24 now. Then Headbutt. Oh boy. 80 power, 90 accuracy, has a chance to make the target flinch. I'm getting rid of Tackle. There's no reason to keep Tackle around for. Alright. And Trisha hits herself. Okay. Imprison. I don't think that does anything. Vulpix. Okay, that is the real Vulpix. You might be thinking, real Vulpix? What? Why would that not be the real one? He has a Zora. For context, he has a Zora. He has a Zora in the back of his party. So he has a Zora in his party as well. So there's a chance that he would have sent that out as he could have sent that out and did illusion. So yeah, good thing he didn't do that. Anyway, I'm gonna switch into Flappy because I don't feel like having Royal fight a Vulpix, even though it would be neutral. Yeah, Flame Burst. Well, on the bright side, he didn't hit Trisha, or at least not directly, and we got Mud Slap off. All right. That Bronzor just loves Confuse Ray, doesn't it? Alright. Oh wait, I should have targeted the Vulpix, whoops. Alright, and didn't matter, hit myself anyway. Trisha outsped, okay. Well, maybe the Vulpix will miss? Or Confusion Spam. That works too. Alright, so wait, okay, well, yeah, I guess that works. Oh. Alright, fine. Well, fine, we'll play it that way. I'm gonna Leech Seed the Bronzor and then Shockwave the Vulpix. Don't hit yourself? Good. Shockwave. Wow! Uh-oh. Wait. Static? Nope. Okay, got some health off the Bronzor. Alright, let's do Twister and then Shockwave and then Shockwave. Alright. Down goes the Vulpix, so it doesn't matter what didn't matter what I did with Laffy. It's gonna hit. And got the Shockwave off. Okay. This might kill the Bronzor. Nope, not quite. Roll out. Okay, we're good there. Leaf Seed takes most of the rest of your health away. And now we got the Zora. Again, I'm surprised he didn't send this out earlier. Whatever. Twister. Down goes, that kills the Bronzor, and Shockwave's gonna, and assuming we don't hit ourselves. Nope. Okay, that Zora is still screwed though. It's not gonna live another. There's no way it's living the next turn. Leaf Tornado and Shockwave again. One of these two will finish it. And it was Leaf Tornado. A crit as well. Wow. Okay, that works. I cannot see the future yet. The world is still to be determined. Alright. Right. My friends aren't strong enough to save all Pokemon. Maybe I can't solve the equation that will change the world. So I need power. Power enough to make anyone agree with me. I know the power I need. Reshiram. Legendary Pokemon that along with the hero created Unova. It's my turn to become that hero. You and I will be friends. Well, that fight went a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting something bad to happen, but we got away with it. All right. Let me check. Okay, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. I think it's you. Was it you? Oh, okay. No, you're a shop. What do you do? X items. No, I'm not gonna buy those. You, nope, don't have anything. There was one other thing I wanted to check before we leave. It's not this house. It's got to be. I think it's the other one. It is this one, I think. Top floor. Yes, you. You have a Pokemon called Shroomish. Would you trade your Shroomish for my Ponyta? We cannot get a Shroomish yet. Shroomish is in the inner part of the forest where we can't get to yet. But I would be damned if I do, damned if I don't mention Ponyta now. So let's quickly go. So I'll quickly mention Ponyta now. It's fast, but it's a terrible level of moveset. That's really the gist of it. It doesn't get a whole lot of moves to work with either, even with this. You get double kick and low kick. And I guess Morning Sun to heal yourself, but this thing is not gonna live a hit from a lot of things, so this one's a bit of a hard pass. Plus Shroomish can have Poison Heal. I'm not gonna go over Shroomish now, I'll go over it when we can actually get access to it, but Shroomish can have Poison Heal. So why would you give up a Breloom with Poison Heal for this? Also, Shroomish can learn Spore, so there's that as well. So again, why would you give that up? I don't know. Maybe like Rapidash, I don't know. But regardless, that's all we can do. That's pretty much everything we can do for now. Next time on Let's Play Gold White, we're gonna head into the gym for real this time, and we're gonna go take on the next gym for a second gym badge. I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.